Hello and welcome to today's mindfulness session. Now I've turned the video on for today's mindfulness session because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. You don't necessarily have to, but sometimes words get lost in translation. So we're going to be doing some tapping movements of the body with our hands. And again, sometimes it's nice to be able to see what's going on as well as to hear. Because our body speaks to us in sensations. It says we've got two minds. We've got our thinking mind, where we analyse and figure out and go over old conversations and plan for the future. And then we've got our feeling mind, which is our body's sensations, how we feel. And the two things are linked, but they're also separate. It's said that we can't think and feel at the same time. So mindfulness isn't just about the thinking mind and our thoughts. Mindfulness is also about the feeling mind, how we feel in our body. And the body doesn't use words. The body's language is sensation. So tuning into our body, again, we get to listen and we become deeply mindful. You might call it embodiment, but it's still mindfulness, that deep awareness of what's going on internally, really getting to know ourselves. So that's what this session is all about. So we're going to start sitting, as always. You can do this standing. Sometimes I teach this standing in my yoga classes as well, but there's no reason why we can't do it sitting either. But I would suggest you sit towards the sort of edge of the chair a little, so the back of the thighs are free. We are going to be tapping the back of the thighs a little as well. So if you're sitting all the way back here, you're not going to be able to get them. So if you bring yourself towards the front of the chair, you can always sit back again later if you want to. So your feet are nicely on the floor, let your hands rest down by your sides or on your legs, and relax the shoulders. And take a few moments to arrive in your body. Because as we know, our mind is somewhere completely different to the body most of the time. So we're taking a moment for our thinking mind to come back and unite with our feeling mind, our body. Take a few breaths. That's always a good guide back into the body. Just breathing, consciously breathing. And when you breathe, again, you start to experience sensations in the body. The body expands a little as you breathe in and settles back towards the spine as you breathe out. And also become aware of your contact to the surface, or the parts of the body that are touching a surface. Your feet touch the floor, your buttocks sit on the seat, your hands rest on your legs. So the sense of touch is really important for our body. Our body needs air, water, food, and touch. We don't develop unless we're touched or we touch something. If you remember the awful images on the news of the Romanian orphanages some years ago, and the children were 5 or 6 years old, but like babies in a cot. They'd never been held, they'd never been touched. So their mental development hadn't continued, their physical development, although they might have grown a bit, they were still unable to move and walk because they'd never been held and touched. So touch is so important for the body's development and for our mental development as well. And although we might not all be lucky enough to go and have a massage regularly, we can certainly you know, satisfy our body's needs to touch ourselves. And this sequence is a lovely way to do that. So I'd like you to start just by bringing your hands together and giving your hands a good rub. So rubbing your hands, so you're creating a bit of warmth and a bit of friction. You can create it, start a little bit harder, a little bit faster, almost as if you're going to light a spark, like a flint. Really faster and harder. And then rest your hands down. Just notice how your hands feel. Of course, you've stimulated the nerves, the blood flow, and you're kind of listening to your hands now through sensation. That's your body talking to you. So our hands are extremely powerful, so much power in your hands. We're going to use the hands now to tap the body. So we can use different parts of the hands. You can use your the cups of the hands. You can use your knuckles, or whatever you want to use. But just be careful on the bony areas like the knees and the shins. Be a bit gentler there. But the meaty areas, you can really give a good pummeling. Okay, so we're going to start just by bringing your hands onto your hip bones. And just start tapping there around the hip bones, on the front of the hips. And again, you determine how much pressure you put into this, so your body will tell you what feels nice for you. And a bit of tapping. And then from the front of the hips, come down the front of the legs. So you can have a good sort of pummeling through the thigh muscles, all around the thigh muscles. Maybe your fists, maybe the cups of the hands. And as you come down to the knees, a little bit gentler in the kneecaps, and just underneath the knees you've got the reflexes, so be careful there. And down the front of the shins, all the way down onto the top of the feet. And then come down to the back of the ankles. And from the back of the ankles, work your way up the legs, the back of the calves, back of the knees, and the back of the thighs. Again, a good old pummeling. And then back down again, back of the knees, back of the calves, all the way back down to the feet. And back up the front of the legs, so from the top of the feet, up the front of the legs. Careful of those reflexes. And then up the thighs. Lovely. Keep tapping, take your legs out a little bit wider. And come down the outer hips, outer thighs, outer knees. So we're getting the gist of it now, all the way down the outer legs to the outer ankles, outer feet, and then into the inner feet, inner ankles, up the inside of the legs, inner knees, inner thighs, and work your way back down the inside of the legs. Lovely, tap, 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 tap. Outer legs, bring yourself up the outer legs once again. Lovely, outer hips. And give the lower back a little tap. So I use the back of my hands here, up to you. So the lower back, the back of the pelvis. And if you can get out of the kidney areas as well, the back of the waist. So we keep a lot of stress in the kidneys. Our adrenal glands, which are little glands that sit on top of the kidneys. They produce adrenaline, which helps us deal with stress. And we can get a lot of stuck sort of toxins and things there, residue in the adrenals. So just tapping there, just stimulating. Go to the back of the pelvis, back to the side of the hips, then come onto the belly. So the belly, and there's a roundness to the belly, so I like to go around the belly, all the way around the belly. And again, you'll know how much pressure to put into this. This is particularly good if you suffer with IBS, or any kind of constipation, any stomach troubles. This can be a really lovely thing just to get the flow going again. Cramping, you can just start to soften. And then change direction, go the other way. So as you're tapping all around the belly. Lovely, gentle tapping, stimulating. And then we're going to come up the belly and onto the chest. So again, we're just tapping, so you can use any parts of the hands. I like to use the finger pads here on the breastbone. So nice and gently. So you're stimulating the lungs. As you tap the chest, stimulating the lungs. And then across the sort of pectoral muscles as well, under the collarbones. You might want to do a little ah sound as well. Ah, so that really just sort of gets the vibrations going. Ah, lovely, lovely. And then keep the right arm down and take your left hand onto the top of the right shoulder. This is the back of the shoulder. So again, you're just tapping any part of the hand, either the cup of the hand or the knuckles or the fingertips, the muscles at the back, the top of the shoulder. And then down the outside of the shoulder and down the outer arm, just tapping all the way down. Outer arm, forearm, down onto the back of the hand. And you're going to turn the hand over onto the palm of the hand. And come up the inside of the arm. Inside the arm, the armpit. Side ribs, down the side of the waist. And then all the way back up. Lovely down the underneath of the arm. Palm of the hand. Back of the hand, all the way back up. Onto the shoulder. And then we'll switch right hand onto the back of the left shoulder, down the back of the arm, all the way down the forearm, onto the back of the hand. Turn the hand over, up the underside of the arm, the armpit and the side ribs and the waist. Back up the side, the armpit down the underneath of the arm. Up the back of the arm, all the way up the shoulder, top of the shoulder. Lovely. And then just rest your hands down for a moment. Have a little rest. Rest your eyes and experience any sensations there, whatever's going on. And stimulating the nerves and the blood flow. The body speaking now. I like to think of my body smiling here, that little stimulation. We learn to listen to our body. Learn to listen to our body, because it's not something that we learn from children. In fact, when we're children, we go to school at the age of 5, we're plonked in a chair, we're told to stop fidgeting, sit still, be quiet, don't move. And then we stop listening to our body very early on. So we don't grow up learning to listen to our body. We don't understand our body and the signals it's telling us, conversations it has with us. And it says if you can listen to your body whispering, you don't have to hear it scream. Just quietly listen to the body, breathing. And keeping a nice gentleness, we're going to work around the neck and the head now. So the back of the neck, you've got the spine that goes up through the back of the neck, the bony spine. And then either side of the spine, you've got rows of muscles up on the right side and the left side. So that's why we're going to be working with, not the actual spine itself. There's the muscles either side. So if you take your hands around the back of the neck, now again you can either tap with your hand, with your finger pads, or you can gently massage the rows of muscles on the right side and the left side, whatever feels nice for you. So gentle little rolling massage or tapping. You can just keep it comfortable, whatever feels nice. You can explore different techniques. So from the bottom of the back of the neck, working your way up either side of the spine, those rows of muscles, and you might find the ledge of the skull, the bottom of the skull, where those muscles go up deep underneath. You might sort of work your way around the sort of hairline area, and the back of the skull, the back of the neck. And then come up onto the bony skull, so the bony plate of the skull at the back. And again, either massaging or tapping. I quite like to have little raindrop kind of taps with my fingertips all around the back of the skull, the round sort of plate at the back of the skull. Whatever feels nice for you. All around the surface of the back of the skull. And then you can come up onto the top of the skull. Again, either little raindrop taps or massaging. Anything that just helps to soften the skin and get the blood flow underneath the skin, scalp. So all around the top of the head, from the crown at the back and the sides towards the front, the hairline. And then you can come down onto the forehead. And either tapping or gently massaging the forehead with your fingertips. The whole of the forehead, from the center of the forehead up to the hairline, down to the eyebrows, and all around, sort of outwards towards the temples. So just working your way around the forehead, just softening the skin, whichever way is nice for you. And then the temples either side of the head, very soft, very gentle at the temples. Again, either gentle massage or tapping. And then the cheeks, so you've got the cheekbones that come from the temples all the way underneath the eyes. And either tapping or massaging, whatever feels nice. Any touch. And then the top lip, the sort of moustache area underneath your nostrils above the top lip. And then down onto the chin. And take your hands onto your earlobes. Take your fingertips onto your earlobes and can give your earlobes a gentle little massage either side. I've got my microphone in one, so I'll just do the other one. With the fingertips just gently massaging the earlobes. Then can you work your way up the outer edge of the ear, massaging, gently twiddling with your thumb and your fingers, right up to the top of the ear, the tip of the ear at the top. Maybe a little pull, a little tug of the ear as well. So if you're sort of giving the ear a little stretch. Back down the outer edge of the ear, back down to the earlobe. And then let your hands rest down, close your eyes. And listening to those sensations. Eyes are soft, jaws are relaxed, face light, maybe some tingling going on, ears, crown of the head, back of the head and the back of the neck, still feeling the effects. And the top of the shoulders, nice and soft, of the arms, still feeling the effects of those tapping. It lingers, it goes on. The chest, back of the body, sides, and down into the back of the waist, the kidney area, still remembering the little tapping you did, and the belly nice and soft. Down into the hips, legs, the feet. Allow yourself to be comfortable. If you want to rest back to the back of the seat, that's fine. Just going to sit here quietly, following the flow of your breath, listening to those soft sensations. Be with your own presence. the vibrance of the life force within you. Notice your inner world, your insideness, your body functioning. Lungs breathing, the heart beating. Just being. And then without moving them or looking at them, just become aware of your hands, the vibrancy in your hands, an instant sensation just by turning your attention to your hands. Amazing power in your hands. And you might want to stay here for a little while longer if it feels nice, just quietly listening. Or if you wish to, let your hands float together in a soft prayer position. In front of your chest, hands gently touching. You might even sense the pulse of your heart and your fingertips, that circuit of energy. And if you're ready to finish the practice, bowing your head down and softly open your eyes, just blinking the eyes softly open to take in the light levels, maintaining that lightness of being as you raise your head. And take this lightness of being with you into the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.